Some people get it, and our friends at the PCCC get it. Progressive Change Campaign Committee. We were talking about these tax cuts and how Obama's, of course, willing to compromise instantly with the Republicans as soon as the elections were over. Well, the PCCC isn't having it, and they've decided to run an ad against Obama, of course, which Obama loyalists will flip out over. Oh, how can you attack our president? You're hurting him. You're hurting him. Can you tell that I'm not buying that argument? And what they did was, they quoted the president, and then they quoted Boehner. And the Boehner clip is incredibly important. Let's watch it first, and then I'll tell you why.
We'll also allow the temporary Bush tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans to expire.
If the only option I have is to vote for some of those tax reductions, I'll vote for it. If the only option I have is to vote for those at 250 and below, of course I'm going to do that.
You see that? Like, Washington has completely forgotten about what Boehner said. But I didn't forget. The PCCC didn't forget. When the president fought before the election, when he was trying to win an election and pretending to be more progressive, and said, hey, listen, we're not going to give those tax cuts to the wealthy, Boehner buckled. He said on national television, oh, if we just have to vote on middle-class tax cuts, of course I'm going to vote yes. You just saw it. He gave you the queen, which Republicans almost never do. And by the way, why did he do it? Because you fought hard and you made your case and you were right. And what happens after the election? You give the queen right back and say, oh, have mine at it too while you're at it. Why? And I love the first part of the commercial. When he was running for president, he said, we are not going to give more tax cuts to the wealthy. And now he turns around and says, yeah, I'm going to give more tax cuts to the wealthy. Well, that's breaking a campaign promise. If you fight, you can win. If you run from every fight, you will always lose. Look at how Boehner was ready to back down. Why are you letting him off the hook? Does anybody inside the White House have any sense whatsoever? Look, before I go on to the next story, I got to ask you again. I get so frustrated. I don't know what else to do. I got to ask somebody. I mean, can they not see that? What? Or do they see that and go, yeah, I don't know, just fuck it. We're push over. I don't know. What's your latest theory?
It's still, I don't really have a theory. It's still, I think, connected to, it's weird, that's what I looked at in that. At the end it said, join us at Bold Progressives, because liberal is such a bad thing to say, and you're calling yourself a liberal and progressive. When you see certain words, even Democrats will go, oh, but it automatically like shuts off everything else that you just said or heard. They don't see the rest of that. They don't see that there's a connection with this and that. They just go, oh, but no, it's kind of starting to dig in, then they go, oh, wait a second, that was done by a progressive. They're radical. Whatever they said, it must have been crazy. You don't get elected listening to them. They're weak. So now, like we said before, they're trying to get it to progressive. It's liberal, definitely. You can't call yourself liberals anymore. But then like, oh, those crazy radicals over there. What were they talking about again?
Yeah,
it cuts everything out.
No, I'm sure you're right. I'm sure the minute they saw that it's the PCCC or boldprogressives.org, they say, oh my God, those people are on our side. Run for the hills. By the way, he won in 2008, making those promises. That's why we voted for him. And to tie up both of those points, based on what JR just said, look, liberal's a dirty word, right? Everybody knows it. They made it a dirty word. Now, why did they win in that? Like, I know why Limbaugh and Beck and all those guys wanted to make liberal a dirty word, right? That's smart, right? But why'd they win? Because there was no counterattack. There was no message for the last 30 years saying, no, the word liberal rocks. Thomas Jefferson was a liberal. Thomas Paine was a liberal. Benjamin Franklin was a liberal. Jesus was a liberal. Martin Luther King was a liberal. FDR was a liberal. Abraham Lincoln was a liberal. Every hero we've had in this country was a liberal, right? Liberal means strong. We protect one another. We're a community. We're a family, right? Did you ever hear that from a single Democrat over the last 30 years? And then you wonder why they can't win elections, why their message is no good, because they don't have a message. The more we do stories like that, the more depressed I get, man. I mean, what are you going to do? We got to educate the entire Democratic Party. We've got to pull the Democratic Party's, the whole party's head out of its ass and be like, hey, hello, Maybe you'd like to make your case. Oh, what? Really? Oh, we should fight back? Oh, man. I wish somebody would have told us that earlier.